Okay, so last portion is organizing these speeches of policy. How do we go about organizing our material? Well, there are basically 4 types of how to organize this specific type that are different from the other speeches. The first one is called problem solution. It's a 2-part speech where first part you're going to explain the problem. What is the problem here? Again, as we mentioned before, make sure we clarify and you convince your audience there is indeed a real problem that needs to be dealt with. Number 2 is the solution. What's your plan? Here's the laying out the plan and then making sure that plan is practical, but it's basically that 2-part speech. Tell us the problem. Part 2, tell us the solution. Another type of organization pattern is kind of a twist on the first one there of problem solution, which is called problem cause solution. So again, you explain the problem, convince us that there is a real need that exists. Then instead of going straight to the solution, you take a few moments to tell us the cause. Where did this problem come from? And when you do that, it's going to help when you identify your solution, your plan, your approach to how to solve it. It's going to help give a little more depth to understanding where it came from, and then we can see if that plan is really going to solve the problem. Like if the cause still exists and it's just going to repeat itself 10 years from now, then is the solution really a solution or just a temporary band-aid? So, but add a cause. Where did the problem come from? How did all that garbage end up out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Okay, third type was what is called comparative advantage order. And I'm going to read this one so I get it straight and clear, that you are comparing advantages and disadvantages of competing solutions. So there's a problem. You're going to explain the problem, the solution. You're going to share with us the solution, actually 2 different solutions. And which one, this plan has these advantages and these disadvantages. This plan B has these advantages and these disadvantages. And when you compare the 2, when you line it all up, plan B is actually a better strategy to solve this problem. Therefore, comparative advantages. What are the advantages of one plan over the other? And then the final type is one that is called Monroe's motivated sequence. And even if you never heard that name before, I can almost guarantee you have seen this method of persuasion in action in TV commercials. Alan Monroe was a professor of speech at Purdue University in the 1930s, and he is the one who is given credit for coming up with this 5-part speech. And it actually works out really well in that part number 1 is your introduction, parts 2, 3, and 4 are your main points, and part 5 is your conclusion. So here are the 5 parts. Part number 1 is need. You got, again, as we mentioned before, you got to convince your audience that the issue you are presenting is a real need that needs to be solved. There's a real problem. Number 2 is, oh, excuse me, let me back that up. I'm not going to undo this tape. So number 1 is you got to get the audience's attention. Make sure that we're all paying attention, we're focused. So you're going to make a controversial statement at the beginning. You are going to surprise us or shock us. You're going to tell us a personal story that is with passion and power and compelling. You're going to arouse our curiosity in some way. How are you going to get our attention so that we are now focusing? That's step number 1. And that's going to be your introduction. Step number 2 is, as I said before, the need. Convince us that there is actually a need. And what the authors of the textbook said, that in this need category, you are going to get us psychologically primed for what comes next. So we are ready for a solution. So point out the need, the problem, the struggle, the frustration that people are having, and why this is indeed a true need that needs to be met. Number 3 is called satisfaction. Give us the plan or the solution to the problem. Tell us how it's going to be solved and fixed. Number 4 is visualization. This is where you're going to create mental images for us, word pictures, where we can see how beneficial the life will be, how much more wonderful life will be now that your solution to the problem has been put into action. So create a word picture. And then number 5 is a call to action. Tell us what we're going to do, tell us how to do it, and give us all that we need to do to be involved to bring the solution to play. Now let me close with giving you an example of a commercial based on Monroe's motivated sequence, the famous Snuggie. Do you remember the Snuggie? Basically a bathrobe worn backwards is the same thing. But the commercial starts out by getting our attention where somebody's sitting on a couch trying to stay warm, and they're spilling their popcorn, they can't work the TV, they can't drink their drink. All these problems, right, to get and put in a comical form to get our attention. That's kind of coupled with the need that they're saying, how can I stay warm and watch TV? How can I eat my popcorn? How can I avoid losing all my money because I'm having to turn the heat up so high because it's so cold? Is there a solution to this? There's a need, a real need out there. Third is satisfaction of the need, where they introduce the Snuggie. And so the person is now putting their arms through the blanket, and they're able to do what they need to do. It's satisfying the need. The visualization is now they're clicking on their remote control, they're drinking their drink, they're eating their popcorn, they're saving money. All these good things are happening. They're going to their child's ball game and staying warm in the crowd. Although I'm telling you this, if you have younger children and they're in sports or some kind of presentation experience, my son was in marching band, don't wear your Snuggie to their event. They will never talk to you again. So they'll have their own needs and problems if you do that. But anyway, it's visualizing the satisfaction of the problem. And then finally is the call to action. At the end of that commercial, they are showing you phone numbers and websites and different ways you can pay with MasterCard or Visa or American Express. They're telling you phone numbers of where to call. They're telling you about free delivery. They're giving you all this information of how you can secure a Snuggie for yourself. So anyway, so you're going to be coming up with some great persuasive speeches, and I look forward to seeing those speeches as you develop them, record them, and send me the link. I look forward to that. All right. Have a great day.